Good morning, class. I am once again sitting on my back patio, recording the Chapter 1, Section 2 lecture, and as we get into it, this is going to be your agenda for Tuesday, and I'm going to skip ahead to these questions because I believe we went over them as part of the bell work first thing in the morning, hopefully. And I want you to think about this as we go into this. What promotions did you see last time you went shopping? Now, maybe for us that was on Instagram or Amazon, or maybe you actually made it into a store, maybe to do some grocery shopping with your parents. Or if you were a little bit more fortunate, maybe you're walking around a mall with a mask on or something of that nature. So, today we're going to talk about the benefits of marketing and this concept of utility and how as professional business folks everywhere, whether or not you're in a position defined as marketing, you are creating some form of utility for your customer. So we're going to end this. We're going to cite some examples and types of utility. Here's the heart of the matter. We have a number of systems in place that allow and support competition, and that competition is beneficial to all of us. I want you to think of the idea of when you play the game of Monopoly, and if you own all of the same color, you have what's called Monopoly, and you can build houses and hotels, and how you now own a section of the board, there is no competition, and you are able to drive up prices. Now, the game kind of controls those prices, but this concept exists in real life. If we had one company that provided all of the gasoline for all of the vehicles in the country, that company would be able to dictate its terms for the cost of gas. They would be able to drive the cost up or drive the cost down based on whatever they wanted. That obviously would have a negative impact on us, the consumer. So one big word, and that is utility, and we'll get into that in just a second. So this is the benefits of marketing, and this is an interesting graphic design. It breaks off into two areas. If we look at this area here, utility, we have the 5 forms of utility: information, time, form, place, and possession. Right? And that offers a benefit of marketing. And we have improved products. Why? Because all of this is going on, and we have better prices, right? Now, there are an endless number of examples of how technology forces competition and keeps prices down as opposed to necessarily going up. Think about current cell phone pricing right now, which I know you guys probably don't pay for most of your cell phone, but you probably will very soon. A lot of you are on unlimited data, Verizon cell phone plans, and those plans sometimes cost as much as $100. But if you were to look at something like Mint Mobile, a company owned by Ryan Reynolds, there's a $15 phone plan out there. Google Fi has their own phone plan that is significantly cheaper than Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile. All of these things benefit us as the consumer. If you did not finish writing this whole thing down, don't worry, we're gonna show you a little bit more on utility in just a minute. Alright. Utility is the added value in economic terms. That is the benefits, the attributes, the qualities of a product or a service that allow them to now satisfy wants and needs of customers and consumers. Okay? That sounds like a mouthful, but just think of those factors in your iPhone that allow it to satisfy what you want it to do. Okay? So we have all these different forms of utility. There's 5 here. And the first one they list is form. That is literally what makes it what it is. In the sense of a phone, it would be the changing of those fine electronic components from their raw materials, that cobalt and nickel and whatever the aluminum and the glass is made out of into the actual phone and putting them together to make this incredibly useful piece of technology that we all love to have. Make sure yours is put away right now. Place utility is having a product where customers can buy it. The supermarket has food, right? Now we have all learned that place utility is changing dramatically over the past decade, and that's why we learned about H.H. Gregg going out of business. Part of that may have been driven by the fact that you can buy goods on Amazon. You don't need a physical location as much anymore. You might need a warehouse to store the goods, but for the longest time, you needed a retail location for buying or purchasing items. Now, we can buy most of our stuff online. I do most of my non-food shopping on Amazon.com. Frankly, because I'm not a shopper, but that's okay. Time utility. So that's having a product or service available at a certain time of year or a convenient time of day. How many surfboards does the Northeast and the North sell in the winter? Probably not a lot. And some areas don't sell any at all because it's not the right place utility. But now we're talking about time utility. Even in Florida, there's a busy season and a significantly less busy season. And having that product at the right time makes a lot of sense. Sell more hot coffee in the winter, more iced coffee in the summer. That type of concept. Possession utility is the exchange of a product for currency or money, and there are a number of different ways to go about that. That is your traditional cash and coin, check, credit card, or Venmo, and that's another thing that technology is changing. And then information utility is what you traditionally think marketing and promotion and advertising is. How we communicate all these benefits, all these other forms of utility to the consumer. So I got a quick video after this, and we'll show you a little bit more of this as an example. Alright, moving on. So the last little bit we're going to talk about is the economic benefits of marketing. And because we have the economy and the market that we have, and the government type that we have, we're able to do this. But marketing allows for new and improved products. There's a reason why there's a better phone every year. That Google's always coming out with a phone, Apple, Samsung, and all of the other phone makers around the world are constantly trying to do better, and it has to do with competition. They're always trying to gain market share from one another. That also drives lower and higher prices as demand increases and supply gets more efficient. We're able to drive some of that price down. There are also cases where that can drive price up. And we'll talk about that kind of later on in class. And then there's economic utility, which we've just talked about multiple times and we'll hit on again. So the question I have for you guys is, what type of economy do we have? What type of market do we have? And what type of government do we have? And I am at this point, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Talk to your neighbor. I'm going to let the video run. We'll pause it, and then we'll have a discussion real quick, and then we'll wrap up this lecture and move on to what we're kind of doing for the rest of the week. All right, so you got 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. All right, 30 seconds is about up. This is a perfect place to pause the video, have a quick discussion with your teacher, and we'll wrap this up in a minute. All right, we're back, and we're going to keep going. So we're going to end this section with what are the 5 forms of utility for a glass of lemonade. You should have them down in your notes, and we're going to write them down on a piece of paper somewhere on your bellwork packet. Find a clean spot, and let's list them out and what each factor utility attributes to lemonade. That is going to wrap it up for today. We'll answer this question, I believe, on Wednesday morning. And hey, thank you for a great Tuesday and a great first 2 days. I hope this is working out well for you. If it's not, by all means, give Mr. Barron and Mrs. Reddick some feedback, and we'll see what we can do to improve. Thanks again.